In this video, I want to demonstrate some searching tips. I first want to demonstrate the use of the speed bar. The speed bar is found here at the top of the screen inside of Matrix. The first thing you might use the speed bar for is to search by an MLS number. Simply typing in the MLS number and hitting enter will take you right to that listing information. Quick, fast, and easy. You might also want to type in multiple MLS numbers. So simply by doing a space and then clicking on a second or a third MLS number and hitting enter will show you all the MLS numbers that you have entered. So here you can either do a comma or a space in between as many MLS numbers as you like. The next thing you might use is to search by an address. So if you know the street number and the street name, just typing in. Now you'll notice also here I'm typing in the exact street number and the street name. I'm not typing in the north, south, or drive or avenue. I'm just doing street number, exact, and the street name. When I hit enter, it just takes me and shows me all the addresses that are all the listings that have that same address. And here you can see I see an active listing, a withdrawn, and an expired listing here. So that's a quick way of doing let's say a little history search for that address. Next, now if you don't know the address of the property, you can do this. Just type in the street name, Northlake. And that will show you every listing on Northlake, no matter the status, no matter the property type, and so forth here. You can also do this. If you don't want all statuses, but you want Northlake and maybe just, let's say, actives, after Northlake, put a space with the letter A there. And then hitting enter, you'll get just the actives on the street of Northlake. Okay? So that's one way of searching up here by address or street name. Now, let's get into a situation that you want to find a listing on a street, but you're not exactly sure if it's spelled one word or two words. Or let's say you're just not sure how it's spelled at all. Well, for example, if there's a Maple Street, and let's say it's Maple Ridge or Maple whatever, you can just type in Maple, but then by throwing in the asterisk is a wild card. That means I know it starts with the word Maple. Asterisk means I don't know what it ends with. So if I hit the enter button here, I'm going to get every street in here that starts with Maple. And you can see I've got Maple Avenue, Maple Street, Maple Wood, one word. I got Maple Leaf, one word. But I also have Maple Creek, Maple Ridge, and so forth here. Now I can do the same as I showed you before, is Maple asterisk, and then do a space with A there. And this will give me, sometimes you'll see this where it says, well, what did you mean? So if it's kind of confused, it will just ask you right here. And I actually meant this, Maple asterisk status active. So when I click on that, I just get actives on Maple anything that's in the system here. Well, let's try something else. Let's say a popular situation is St. Charles or St. Peter's, and you're not sure if it's ST period space or ST space in the street name, or if it's spelled, the Saint is spelled out. Well, remember that asterisk? Just put the asterisk first and then type in Charles. And what that will do, it will find you everything that ends with the word Charles. The asterisk at the beginning means I don't know what it starts with, but I know it ends with Charles. Now if I hit my enter button, it will find me everything in the system for Charles, which is St. Charles. You notice this one has a space, this one has a period in the space. That one is actually spelled out Charles. So the asterisk at the beginning means it ends with Charles. I just don't know what it begins with. Now, you can also do it this way. And this would be the most inclusive way, is if you put the asterisk at the front and the end of the name. And that way it'll say, I don't know what it starts with, I don't know what it ends with. Somewhere in there is the word Charles. And then if I hit enter, what I also could get if I would scroll down this list would be not just the St. Charles, but the Charleston, actually. So the less you type in between the asterisks, the more results you'll get, the most inclusive. So if you're ever trying to find it and you can't find it by doing an the address, just make sure you use the asterisks in there, and make sure you leave out the street, avenue, the north, the south part of it also, because that's not the street name. That's actually part of the street direction or the street type there. Now, something else you can do is you can do things like this. We have just a handful of speed shortcut codes. A would be active, and then you could do something like 70002, which is a zip code, space RES space, and then you can do a price range such as $400 to 600, and then you can do 3 plus, which is 3 bedrooms or more, space 2 plus, which is beds and baths. Now, so I got the status is A. I got my zip code. I've got res for residential. Multifamily would be MUL. Lease would be LSE. And by the way, a lot of these codes, if you want to reference, it's under the question mark here. So if you open up the question mark, it will kind of answer what the options are you can do in this list here. And this explains the MLS number, A for active, S for solds. Here's your codes for different property types here, and so forth. So definitely give this a good look at to help explain this here. So, but there again, it doesn't matter what order I type these in, but the only two that does matter the order is the beds and the baths. You have to type, if you care about both beds and baths, when you type it in, make sure you do the beds first and then the baths, separated by a space there. Now, once I type that in, I can just hit enter, and it goes and it finds all active listings within that zip code for that property type between that price range with 3 or more beds and 2 or more baths. Now, we cannot figure out a way to do the area numbers. So area numbers does not work in this situation here. So you're going to have to leave it with zip code to find it that way. But you can do as much or as little of these little codes that you like there. Okay. Now next, what I'd like to show you is that we have recent searches right up here at the top, right underneath your name. This shows you your 50 last searches. So if you knew you did a search earlier today, what you can do is open this up, scroll down, and find that time that you did that search, and just click on it, and it's going to pull it right back up. So it's a short-term memory for you on your recent searches. Another item I like to show you is multitasking. A lot of us are in this situation where we're in the middle of a search for a client, and we're typing in criteria, and we're doing beds and baths, and we go to results, and let's say someone else calls me up and they want me to search for them and do something, but I'm in the middle of a search for this client. Well, if you've ever used Fusion, Fusion had the separate tabs for searching. Well, you don't see the separate tabs within Matrix here to do multiple searches at one time. Well, what you can do here is go up to the address bar at the top, the tab at the top, which it's actually getting cut off on this video here. And if you go to the tab at the top and right-click on the tab, you'll notice there's an option to duplicate this tab. So when you hit the duplicate tab, now all of a sudden I've got 2 tabs which are the same thing. And since the top of this screen is cut off, you're not seeing these tabs, but what this does now is I can come over here and do a new search for another client of mine, but then I can toggle back to the old tab and I still have my original search that I was working on. So it just opens up multiple tabs, and I can open up go to the tab at the top and right click and duplicate a third time, and now I'll have 3 tabs open where I can multitask. Next is under the search area, and if I click on the residential search or any of the search types, I'm just using residential, you'll notice also that sometimes you're in here and you're looking for a certain field, but you may not see that field that you're looking for. So if you're looking for a special field and you don't see it in this list, well, you can simply scroll down a little bit, and then underneath where it has your matches, the map, and the results options, there's a additional fields. And here you can add or remove whatever fields you want to add in here, such as clicking on the Add Remove tab. When you click on this, you can find whatever fields that you like to search by. For example, maybe acres. You can just highlight it, hit the Add button, and it throws that field over here. Well, it looks like I've already got acres already in my list. So if I pick another one like age, I can add and pull that one over. Now that it's over here, I can use these arrows and move it up and put it in the order that I like to do. And then I can scroll through, and then if there's other fields in here I'm not really sure about or where they're at, I can always type it in and it'll find it for me. Or I can open it up here, pick it, and add another one here. And the nice thing about this, once I add these fields and I relocate them, I can hit the back button, and they're always here at the bottom. They'll never go away for me, and they're always in this box down here at the bottom down here. Okay, they're all, like I said, they're always here until I go and I remove them, take them back out. So unlike the old system, you had to keep adding them here. It'll save those here. Now, let me show you another advantage of using the, or another tip for the searching by street number or street name. Remember in my speed bar, I had to use the exact street number and the in there. I couldn't type in a range of numbers there. Now I could do the entire street, but let's say I know a range. Let's say it's the 900 block of Maple. And so I type in 900 to 999, and I do street name Maple. And if it's one of those words where I'm not really sure, streets where I'm not really sure the name is one word or two words, I can use that asterisk in here also. And then once I do that, I can hit my results, and it will take me to the 900 block of Maple whatever. And in this case, I had one match here. So let me go back to the criteria. Now what I could also do is there's a more button here, so I could do a more range and do another street address or street range, and I can do up to 10 of these street names and addresses here that's in this list here. Alright, well, I hope these little tips have helped you in this video, and once again, just practice this. The more you practice, the more you get familiar with this, the more things will be easier for you down the road. Thank you for your time.